Ever heard a story so intense it feels like a roller coaster in the dark? Well, get ready, because we're diving into one of Shakespeare's darkest and most powerful plays, Macbeth. It's a tale of ambition, betrayal, and a serious case of bad decision-making. Our story kicks off on a spooky, misty battlefield in Scotland. We meet Macbeth, a brave and respected general, fresh off a major victory. He and his buddy Banquo are heading home when they stumble upon three weird sisters, witches, chanting around a cauldron. These aren't your friendly neighborhood fortune-tellers. They greet Macbeth with a series of mind-blowing prophecies. First, they call him Thane of Glamis, which he already is. No big deal. But then, they hail him as Thane of Cawdor, and finally, as the future king of Scotland. Macbeth is totally floored. They also tell Banquo that he won't be king himself, but his children will be. Then, poof, the witches vanish into thin air. Macbeth tries to laugh it off, but just then, a messenger from King Duncan arrives. The news: the old Thane of Cawdor was a traitor and has been executed. As a reward for his bravery, the king has named Macbeth the new Thane of Cawdor. Whoa, the first prophecy just came true. Suddenly, that whole king thing doesn't sound so crazy. The seed of ambition is planted, and it starts to grow, fast. He writes to his wife, Lady Macbeth, telling her everything. Now, if you think Macbeth is ambitious, you haven't met his wife. She reads the letter, and her mind immediately goes to murder. She worries that Macbeth is too full, the milk of human kindness, to do what needs to be done. So, when King Duncan decides to pay a visit and stay the night at their castle, she sees it as the perfect opportunity. She masterfully manipulates her husband, questioning his courage and his love for her, until he agrees to the horrifying plan: they will kill the king in his sleep. That night, Macbeth is a wreck. He hallucinates a bloody dagger floating in front of him, leading him to Duncan's room. But he goes through with it. He murders the king, but is so shaken up he forgets to leave the daggers behind to frame the guards. Lady Macbeth, ever the pragmatist, scolds him, grabs the bloody daggers, and plants the evidence herself. The next morning, the king's body is discovered, and all hell breaks loose. In a staged fit of rage, Macbeth kills the guards, supposedly out of loyalty to the slain king. Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, fear for their own lives and flee the country, which conveniently makes them look guilty. And just like that, with the true heirs gone, Macbeth is crowned King of Scotland. But the crown feels heavy, and his mind is filled with paranoia. He remembers the witch's prophecy about Banquo's children becoming kings. He can't have that. So, he hires assassins to kill Banquo and his son, Fleance. The assassins succeed in killing Banquo, but Fleance escapes into the night. At a royal banquet, Macbeth's guilt comes back to haunt him. Literally, he sees the ghost of Banquo sitting in his chair, and he starts yelling at the empty seat, terrifying his guests. Lady Macbeth tries to cover for him, but the damage is done. The lords begin to suspect that their new king is not only a tyrant but also unstable. Desperate for answers, Macbeth seeks out the three witches again. They show him more apparitions, which give him a false sense of security. They tell him to beware Macduff, a nobleman who has fled to England, but they also say that none of woman-born shall harm Macbeth, and that he will be safe until great Birnam wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him. Macbeth feels invincible. Who isn't born of a woman? How can a forest walk? Feeling emboldened, he orders the slaughter of Macduff's entire family, his wife, and children. This is the final straw. In England, Macduff learns of his family's murder and is consumed by a desire for revenge. He joins forces with Malcolm, Duncan's rightful heir, and they raise an army to march on Scotland. Meanwhile, back at the castle, Lady Macbeth is falling apart. She's been sleepwalking, trying to wash imaginary bloodstains from her hands, reliving the night of the murder over and over. Her guilt has driven her mad, and she eventually dies. As the English army approaches, their soldiers cut down branches from Birnam wood to use as camouflage. A scout reports to Macbeth that it looks like the forest itself is moving towards the castle. The second prophecy is coming true. Macbeth's confidence shatters, but he decides to go down fighting. He confronts the vengeful Macduff on the battlefield. Macbeth boasts that no man born of a woman can harm him, but Macduff delivers the final, shocking twist. He was from his mother's womb, untimely ripped, delivered by a C-section. He was not, in the traditional sense, born of a woman. Macbeth knows he's doomed. They fight, and Macduff slays the tyrant. Malcolm is hailed as the rightful king of Scotland, and order is restored. And that's the tragic tale of Macbeth, a cautionary story about how unchecked ambition can lead to a bloody and destructive downfall. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into classic literature, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.